With the WNBA playoffs on the horizon, the Phoenix Mercury are at a bit of a crossroads. Recent winners of a league-best 4 straight games, momentum is on their side. But when it comes to the health of the roster, not so much. Although Hartley and Griner have been missed, their absences have triggered some scoring opportunities for others. Skylar Diggins-Smith has cracked 20-plus scoring in 3 straight games, and her impact has not gone unnoticed from her teammates. While fans may not be able to fill the stands to see the Mercury play here in downtown Phoenix, they can still catch the action from the comfort of their own homes, thanks to nationally televised games. Hey everyone, welcome to another week of Inside the Inferno. I'm Adam Noel, he's Koki Riley, and we have a jam-packed show for you guys today, as this might just be the busiest month of ASU athletics all year. Koki, would you agree with that statement?
Personally, I would certainly agree with you, Adam.
Hey everyone, welcome to another week of Inside the Inferno. I'm Adam Noel, he's Carson Field. Carson, it's great to have you back at the desk, but I know you've been staying busy since the last time we anchored together.
Yeah, a little bit of an all-star break from this show, if you will, but it's good to be back. We got a lot to talk about on this edition.
We have a great show to kick off the year.
Well, I know I'm excited. Let's kick things off by bringing in Inferno Intel wrestling reporter Nick Zeller-Singh. Nick, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks Adam.
And what do you have for us today?
Now, although Arizona State is not the most decorated college wrestling program,
we'll throw things out to Las Vegas, where reporters Adam Noel and James Malamas are covering the Pac-12 tournament.
Thanks, CJ. James Malamas joined by Adam Noel here in Las Vegas. Adam, Arizona State controlled the entire first half. In the second half, it was all Cal. What happened in that game to change the tides?
Well, I think it was a big push by Cal in that third and fourth quarter. They went on a 20-0 run. They ended up taking back the lead, and they'd only led the game probably in the opening minutes, but they took a 48-46 lead going into that fourth quarter, and I think that's really what shifted the momentum, and the energy of the crowd was on their side, and it just seemed like ASU couldn't buy a basket and couldn't get a foul call at all on either end of the court. Thanks, Michael. Well, we are in the studio, and that means it's time for this week's edition of Inferno Intel Headlines. This week, James and I pick our favorite ASU-related news from this past week. Now, James, I know ASU athletics aren't currently going on, but there are a lot of headlines around related to ASU with other athletes, possibly professional and otherwise.
Yeah, a lot of former Sun Devils making big headlines all across the sports world this past week.
And let's kick things off, and I'll start us off with something I saw on Twitter from this last weekend. And it comes from former ASU receiver N'Keal Harry after he and the New England Patriots took on the Seattle Seahawks in Week 2. This photo clearly depicts the chemistry Harry has formed with Cam Newton early on in this season. The two connected for 8 receptions and 72 yards, which were both career highs for Harry in the NFL. And gotta love Cam throwing up the Wakanda Forever to honor the late Chadwick Boseman. Well, it took not 1, not 2, but 3 separate releases for ASU football to finally figure out who they'll be playing this year. That being the result of COVID-19 almost canceling the Pac-12 football season. Let's take a look at how that 7-game schedule shapes up for ASU. First challenge of the season begins with USC, a game that will be nationally televised on Fox and set for an early 9 a.m. Pacific Standard kickoff. That's probably the toughest game of the season, as the Trojans are actually projected to finish first in the Pac-12 South, according to the preseason media poll. And things don't line up from there, as Cal is the next game, and ASU opens that game at home. That's another team that's projected to compete for the Pac-12 title, and the Golden Bears present a number of challenges for the Sun Devils in Week 2. But from that point on, things will line up a lot for ASU. The team will be favored on a road trip to Colorado and a pair of home games against Utah and UCLA. The hope being that momentum will carry them into their so-called regular season finale against in-state rival Arizona. That game will be on the road, but unlike most territorial cups, home field advantage is all but gone. Although this schedule may seem a little top-heavy, the Sun Devils should consider themselves lucky with what they have. It's a schedule that could have ASU competing for a Pac-12 title. Last Friday marked a historic first for ASU women's basketball. At home against USC, the Sun Devils went into their first ever triple overtime game in program history. In a game that featured neither team shooting above 40% from the floor, the two were locked at 51 apiece at the end of regulation. What followed was a back-and-forth affair that spanned over 3 additional periods. That was until ASU's Riley Richardson drained a game-winning 3 with 1.9 seconds left, sealing a comeback win for the Sun Devils. The victory also marked the 500th career win of Charlie Turner Thorne's head coaching career. Now let's head out to Desert Financial Reno, where our very own CJ Chidas recapped the action. Additionally, senior guard Robbie Ryan made her season debut for the Sun Devils after missing Tuesday's season opener. She made her presence well known on both sides of the court.
That kind of experience and toughness on both sides of the ball kind of showed up today, so it was awesome to have her back out there. I thought she looked good. You know, she's not in game shape. She definitely got winded a little bit, but she's, you know, that's going to come.
Now 2-0 on the season, the Sun Devils travel to Minnesota to take on the 23rd ranked Golden Gophers next Sunday. That game tips off at 2 p.m. At Desert Financial Arena. Adam Noel, Inferno Intel. Despite Borelli's attempts over the past 2 years, Arizona has yet to find common ground on the topic of sports betting. Most recently, in February of 2020, Senate Bill 1525 was tabled and talks were pushed to next year. That bill would have legalized land-based sports books, with exclusive rights going to Native American tribes.
Be very, controlled and very conservative, if you will, not having it widespread everywhere. And also, there's a good happy medium that we're not stepping on, tribal toes, because it can be done in such a way that everybody should be able to share and everybody can prosper.
In addition, Arizona House Representative Steve Pierce has been working in tandem with Borelli. The two have been key proponents for all the good legal sports betting could bring to the state.
It would be another source of revenue for the state. A lot of people want it. They're doing it anyways. So there's ought to be some regulation from the state.
And with that goodbye, Cooper will bring an end to a 34-year career working in the Valley and to a place he holds near and dear to his heart.
That's what Channel 12 has been to me, my second family. Look, I've had some very difficult times from my personal life that I went through, and to have the people rally around me, to show me the love, the community as well. I mean, look, I know that I was in the right place.
Symptoms started coming on the spring of my freshman year, fractures throughout my bone in my shins.
Those fractures led to doctors telling Dobmeyer she would have to decide between surgery and retirement because of the extent of the injury.
Basically, they told me that if I were to continue playing at this level, that my bones would just end up breaking in half, kind of like a stick would crack in half because they're just not strong enough.
And at just 20 years old, Dobmeyer decided to retire from the sport of volleyball. But instead of leaving ASU, Dobmeyer chose to stay with the team in a role as a student assistant coach.
People don't get this. A 20-year-old being a coach in the Pac-12 doesn't happen often. It's a wonderful experience, and I just want to take advantage of it.
And while the change hasn't been easy, Dobmeyer has done her best transitioning to a coaching mindset this season.